Republic Act Number 8353, the Anti-Rape Law of 1997, amended the provisions of Article 335 classifying rape as a crime against person. Under Title 8 of Act Number 3815, the amending law states, Section 2, Rape as a crime against persons. The crime of rape shall hereafter be classified as a crime against persons under Title 8 of Act Number 3815 as amended, otherwise known as the Revised Penal Code. Accordingly, there shall be incorporated into Title 8 of the same code a new chapter to be known as Chapter 3 on Rape to read as follows. Rape, Article 266-A, rape when and how committed. Rape is committed, number 1, by a man who shall have carnal knowledge of a woman under any of the following circumstances. A. Through force, threat, or intimidation. B. When the offended party is deprived of reason or otherwise unconscious. C. By means of fraudulent machination or grave abuse of authority. And D. When the offended party is under 12 years of age or is demented, even though none of the circumstances mentioned above be present. Number 2, by any person who under any of the circumstances mentioned in paragraph 1 hereof shall commit an act of sexual assault by inserting his penis into another person's mouth or anal orifice, or any instrument or object into the genital or anal orifice of another person. Article 266-B, penalty. Rape under paragraph 1 of the next preceding article shall be punished by reclusion perpetua. Whenever the rape is committed with the use of a deadly weapon or by 2 or more persons, the penalty shall be reclusion perpetua to death. When by reason or on the occasion of the rape, the victim has become insane, the penalty shall become reclusion perpetua to death. When the rape is attempted and a homicide is committed by a reason or on the occasion thereof, the penalty shall be reclusion perpetua to death. When by reason or on the occasion of the rape, homicide is committed, the penalty shall be death. The death penalty shall also be imposed if the crime of rape is committed with any of the following aggravating or qualifying circumstances. Number 1, when the victim is under 18 years of age and the offender is a parent, ascendant, step-parent, guardian, relative by consanguinity, or affinity within the third civil degree, or the common law spouse of the parent of the victim. Number 2, when the victim is under the custody of the police or military authorities or any law enforcement or penal institution. Number 3, when the rape is committed in full view of the spouse, parent, any of the children or other relatives within the third civil degree of consanguinity. Number 4, when the victim is a religious engaged in legitimate religious vocation or calling and is personally known to be such by the offender before or at the time of the commission of the crime. Number 5, when the victim is a child below 7 years old. Number 6, when the offender knows that he is afflicted with a human immunodeficiency virus or HIV, or acquired immune deficiency syndrome or AIDS, or any other sexually transmissible disease, and the virus or disease is transmitted to the victim. Number 7, when committed by any member of the armed forces of the Philippines or paramilitary units thereof, or the Philippine National Police, or any law enforcement agency of penal institution, when the offender took advantage of his possession to facilitate the commission of the crime.
Number 8. When by reason or on the occasion of the rape, the victim has suffered permanent physical mutilation or disability. Number 9. When the offender knew of the pregnancy of the offended party at the time of the commission of the crime. And number 10. When the offender knew of the mental disability, emotional disorder, and or physical handicap of the offended party of the time of the commission of the crime. Rape under paragraph 2 of the next preceding article shall be punished by prison major. Whenever the rape is committed with the use of deadly weapon or by two or more persons, the penalty shall be prison major to reclusion temporal. When by reason or on the occasion of the rape, the victim has become insane, the penalty shall be reclusion temporal. When the rape is attempted and a homicide is committed by reason or the occasion thereof, the penalty shall be reclusion temporal to reclusion perpetual.
When by reason or on the occasion of the rape, homicide is committed, the penalty shall be reclusion perpetua. Incestuous rape refers to the involuntary sexual intercourse or assault wherein the offender and the victim is related either by consanguinity or by blood or by affinity or by marriage. Statutory rape is committed when the victim is under 12 years of age, regardless whether the sexual intercourse was voluntary or otherwise due to vitiated consent on the part of the child. Sexual assault is the act of forcibly inserting penis or any other instrument to the genital, anal, or oral orifice of another person. Rape is committed in two ways. Number 1, through sexual intercourse according to Article 266-A, Paragraph 1, otherwise known as organ rape or penile rape. In this type of rape, the central element is carnal knowledge. Number 2, by sexual assault according to Article 266-A, Paragraph 2, otherwise known as instrument or object rape or gender-free rape.
Article 266-A, Paragraph 1, Elements. Number 1, the offender has carnal knowledge of the victim. And number 2, such act was accomplished through force, threat, or intimidation, or when the victim is deprived of reason or unconscious, or when the victim is under 12 years old. Carnal knowledge, mere touching by the penis of the vagina's labia already constitutes carnal knowledge. People v. Bayod expounds. Carnal knowledge has been defined as the act of a man having sexual bodily connections with a woman. Sexual intercourse. An essential ingredient thereof is the penetration of the female sexual organ by the sexual organ of the male in cases of rape. However, mere proof of the entrance of the male organ into the labia of the pudendum or lips of the female organ is sufficient to constitute a basis for conviction. And in People v. Quinanola, in the context it is used in the revised penal code. Carnal knowledge, unlike its ordinary connotation of sexual intercourse, does not necessarily require that the vagina be penetrated or that the hymen be ruptured. The crime of rape is deemed consummated even when the man's penis merely enters the labia or lips of the female organ, or as once so said fit. A case by the mere touching of the external genitalia by a penis capable of consummating the sexual act. Force, threat, and intimidation. People v. Do has this to say. In rape cases alleged to have been committed by force, threat, or intimidation. It is imperative for the prosecution to establish that the element of voluntariness on the part of the victim be absolutely lacking. The prosecution must prove that force or intimidation was actually employed by accused upon his victim to achieve his end. Force, as an element of rape, must be sufficient to consummate the purposes which the accused had in mind. Intimidation includes the moral kind, as the fear caused by threatening the girl with a knife or pistol. It bears emphasis, however, that the element of the force or intimidation does not require the presence or use of deadly weapon or the accused employment or violence. People v. Galagate clarifies. Similarly, intimidation should be evaluated in light of the victim's perception at the time of the commission of the crime. Article 266-A, Paragraph 1, Elements. 1. The offended party is under 12 years old of age, and number 2, the accused had carnal knowledge of the victim regardless of whether there was force, threat, or intimidation, or grave abuse of authority. It is enough that the age of the victim is proven and that there was sexual intercourse, as the law presumes absence of the free consent when the victim is below the age of 12. It is not necessary to prove force, intimidation, or consent, as they are not elements of statutory rape. The offended party neither possesses discernment nor the capacity to give intelligent consent to the sexual act. Intact hymen does not negate rape. Just because the hymen is intact and that no laceration has been observed does not necessarily mean that no rape was committed. People v. Bayod declares, in People v. Gabayron, we sustained the conviction of the accused for rape, even though the victim's hymen remained intact after the incidents, because medical researchers show that negative findings of lacerations are of no significance, as the hymen may not be turned despite repeated coitus. It was noted that many cases of pregnancy had been reported about women with unruptured hymens, and that there could still be a finding of rape, even if, despite repeated intercourse or even period of years, the victim still retained an act hymen without sign of injury.
DNA test in rape case. In DNA test result that shows a finding of complete match or a 99.999% probability raises a disputable presumption of paternity, i.e. issue is the biological father. On the other hand, a result that excludes that assures on the issues of paternity, the same is conclusive proof that thereof, but a result of less than 99.999% is merely considered as corroborative evidence.